The illusion of progress, how Black women's economic advancement is being systematically erased. Thank you all for being here today. I'm truly honored to stand before you to share insights from my recent interview with Deanna Barnes, a force of nature who has redefined what economic empowerment means for Black women in America. Deanna isn't just a successful entrepreneur. She's an architect of liberation who has created pathways where there were once only barriers. Her visionary leadership has empowered thousands of Black women to reject systems that weren't built for them and instead create their own economic ecosystems where they can truly thrive. What makes Deanna extraordinary isn't just her business acumen, it's her radical honesty about the true state of progress for Black women in America. We've all heard the comforting narrative about workplace equality, that slow incremental progress is happening, that if we just wait long enough, be patient enough, work hard enough, the arc of history will bend toward justice. But what if that narrative isn't just incomplete? What if it's a dangerous illusion? What if right now, as we sit here, progress isn't just stalled, it's actively being dismantled? This is the unsettling truth I discovered during my conversation with Deanna. The data is shocking and deliberately hidden from public discourse. In April 2025 alone, Black women lost 38,000 jobs. Their unemployment rate jumped a full percentage point in a single month, from 5.1% to 6.1%. This isn't some statistical anomaly. This is systematic erasure. And what makes this particularly alarming is that this decline appears directly connected to policy changes. Black women workers at the federal level declined by an estimated 33% within just 1 year, compared to just a 3.7% drop across the workforce overall. Let that sink in for a moment. The very policies designed to create more equitable workplaces are being dismantled, and the impact is immediate and devastating for Black women specifically. As Deanna powerfully stated during our interview, they keep moving the finish line and then blame us for not reaching it. This reality forces us to confront an uncomfortable truth. The systems we've built don't just fail to support Black women, they actively work against them. And when progress is made, it can be dismantled with frightening speed. But here's where the story takes an unexpected turn. Despite facing persistent wage gaps and increasing unemployment, Black women have responded with remarkable entrepreneurial drive. Between 2017 and 2024, the number of Black women owned businesses increased by over 40%, outpacing the growth of every other demographic group. This represents not just a business trend, but a movement of economic self determination. For generations, Black women have been positioned at the margins of the American economic dream, shunned by traditional corporate ladders, underfunded by investors, overlooked by policymakers. Entrepreneurship for Black women has never been just about profit, it's been about survival and creating spaces where they could thrive when workplaces demanded they shrink themselves. As of 2024, Black women own in nearly 2.7 million businesses in the United States, making them one of the fastest growing groups of entrepreneurs. This entrepreneurial movement has created new economic opportunities, not just for Black women business owners, but for their communities, employees, and future generations. When I asked Deanna about this phenomenon, she shared something profound. We're not just building businesses, we're building lifeboats for our communities when the mainstream economy continues to let us drown. This brings me to another contradiction that emerged in our conversation, what I call the education opportunity disconnect. Did you know that Black women are the most educated demographic in America in terms of college and graduate education enrollment? Let me repeat that. The most educated demographic in America, yet they continue to face the widest pay gaps and now increasing unemployment. For decades, Black women have been told that education is the key to advancement, and they have responded accordingly. Yet the promised economic returns on this educational investment have not materialized proportionally. Even Black women with college degrees face higher maternal mortality rates than white women with similar or lower educational attainment. The message is clear: credentials alone cannot overcome systemic barriers. As Deanna put it, we've earned the degrees, we've gotten the certifications, we've jumped through every hoop. At some point, we have to acknowledge that the problem isn't our qualifications, it's a system that wasn't built for us to succeed. Perhaps most troubling is what we discovered about the impact of policy reversals on Black women's employment. Following administrative changes, DEI initiatives at the federal level were struck down, and many corporations followed suit to align their policies. This has led to that 33% decline in Black women workers at the federal level within just 1 year that I mentioned earlier. The data has revealed a direct correlation between anti DEI policies and increased unemployment for Black women, with economists describing this as demonstrably damaging to the Black community, something we have not seen before. This demonstrates how quickly progress can be undone when equity initiatives are abandoned. Progress isn't inevitable, it's fragile, requiring constant vigilance and protection. What took decades to build, Deanna noted, took months to dismantle. But here's where I want to shift our perspective. Because despite these sobering realities, there's something extraordinary happening that demands our attention. In the face of these barriers, Black women aren't just surviving, they're innovating, they're creating new economic models, they're redefining success on their own terms. Black women face persistent wage gaps, earning only 83 cents for every dollar earned by men in 2025, with even wider gaps for Black women specifically. Additionally, they are drastically underrepresented in leadership roles, with only 4% of C suite executives across major US companies being Black women as of 2023. Rather than waiting for systemic change, Black women have increasingly turned to entrepreneurship as the path to economic empowerment and self determination. As Deanna shared with me, we've stopped asking for a seat at the table. We're building our own tables now, and they're more beautiful, more inclusive, and more profitable than the ones we were excluded from. This isn't just resilience, it's revolution. It's a fundamental reimagining of what economic power can look like. And it's working. This entrepreneurial movement has created new economic opportunities, not just for Black women business owners, but for their communities, employees, and future generations. But we shouldn't mistake this success as evidence that the system is working. Rather, it's evidence of extraordinary achievement despite a system that continues to place barriers in the way. As Deanna reminded me during our conversation, our success isn't because of the system, it's in spite of it. Imagine what we could accomplish if we didn't have to spend half our energy just overcoming barriers that shouldn't exist in the first place. This brings me to a powerful affirmation Deanna shared that has stayed with me. I am not just surviving in spaces not built for me. I am transforming them through my presence. What would our economy and society look like if Black women's talents, education, and entrepreneurial spirit were fully supported rather than systematically undervalued? The economic cost of this undervaluation is staggering. According to research Deanna cited, if we eliminated the wage gap for Black women alone, we would add over $300 billion dollars to the US economy annually. That's not just money lost to Black women, that's growth and innovation lost to all of us. So here's my challenge to you today: stop thinking of this as their problem. This is our collective failure, and it demands our collective action. If you're an investor, ask yourself why less than 1% of venture capital goes to Black women founders despite their businesses outperforming the market. If you're an employer, examine why your Black women employees are leaving at higher rates than their peers. If you're a policymaker, recognize that dismantling equity initiatives doesn't create a level playing field. It actively tilts it against those who have been historically excluded. And if you're simply a citizen who cares about justice and economic prosperity, understand that our economy is bleeding talent, innovation, and potential every day we allow these barriers to persist. The revolution Black women are creating through entrepreneurship isn't just inspiring, it's instructive. It shows us what's possible when determination meets opportunity. But we cannot be content with individual success stories while systemic barriers remain intact. The question isn't whether Black women will continue to rise, they've proven they will against all odds. The question is whether we will finally recognize that their fight shouldn't have to be this hard and that their success is intrinsically tied to our collective prosperity. In the words of Deanna Barnes, true progress isn't measured by how many barriers we overcome, it's measured by how many barriers we eliminate for those who come after us. Let's stop celebrating resilience without addressing the conditions that make it necessary. Let's stop asking Black women to work twice as hard for half as much. Let's build an economy that values their contributions, supports their ambitions, and recognize that their advancement isn't a zero sum game. It's a key to unlocking our full economic potential. The time for incrementalism is over. The time for transformative change is now. And it begins with each of us refusing to accept the illusion of progress while the reality of regression surrounds us. Thank you.